You should use a condom before you listen.
The American dream is dead.
John Lisle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew Bennett, Beaver Cool-Aid.
Sure glad we got a chance to warm up before you hit that thing.
It kind of jumped right in there, didn't it?
A lot, Lloyd.
Good Lord, my ears are deaf right now.
Oh,
that old lady's got some pipes.
I think we should get right in and talk about the Russians.
Why are they screwing with South by Southwest?
No, man, they had poisoned 2 people in the UK, and Britain expelled 23 Russian diplomats over this guy's poisoning. But they did it with this, Russian-made whatever gas, and it made 22 other people sick. They did it at a restaurant. They had to take the table that the 2 people were sitting at and destroy it. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, they didn't really say how that was administered, though, right?
That it was some kind of nerve agent.
Because that other guy they took down in London, that was plutonium, and they dropped something in tea.
I'll mispronounce this, but it's called Novichok, and it's a chemical weapon.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Developed in the Soviet Union in the 80s.
Wow.
And they say it's 10 times more potent than anything before then. People pretty much die right away.
How do you get
People didn't die. I don't know. I haven't read much enough about, to figure out how they administered that in the restaurant. But they did poison this couple, this guy and his daughter.
Because they were spies.
Well, he's a double agent.
Right.
Supposedly.
And then, of course, the Russians do what the Russians always do. They roll their eyes and go, "Oh, God, such a circus over there."
You guys are crazy.
You guys are crazy. You don't. Poisoning people? Come on.
Those wacky Brits.
Us. No. Come on, we're Russians.
If he had a knot in his neck, we'd take that out. No problem.
So I tell you what, I think that this is going to start, start some shit over there.
I think.
Well, if you say so. We finally, I think the president finally acknowledged that, that could be the case. Yeah, maybe. But every time we think something's going to start some shit, it doesn't.
No matter what it is.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah. So closer to home with you guys, the package bombs in Austin.
Yeah, that's a strange one, and obviously there's the cops are saying that it's the same person because they can tell from how the bombs were built, and they're saying this guy is very, very, very intelligent about his bomb making. Said he knows exactly what he's doing, and they are built meticulously to be triggered. So it's a smart person, at least in the bomb world. So does that say ex-military? Does that say just some crazy ass wacko who learned how to build a bomb? I don't think so. I don't know.
Well, are are they random targets?
Well,
didn't go down to book people and get the anarchist cookbook.
They haven't ruled out hate crimes because it's been African American and Hispanic, one lady, but and it's on the east and northeast side of town, which was where all the bombs were set off at. The young kid, the 17-year-old, literally, I don't know if his mom had taken it into the kitchen or something, but they opened it up inside the home and he was instantly killed, and she was pretty bad. Yeah. So this guy it is terrible. And, they're basically saying there's nothing that got shipped. It was something that was just left there in the middle of the night. And you would think with all these cameras everywhere that someone hasn't got video of this person who did that. But
well, it's the east side of town, and no offense, but they don't have a lot of security cameras over on the east side of town. It's a low income area.
That's true.
So maybe that's one of the reasons that he did that, knowing there weren't too many cameras, or she, whoever it is. I tell you what, it's a good time to talk about what you do with somebody when you find them like that here in Texas. And I was telling a buddy of mine in New York the other day that we like to hang them high when we find them.
Yeah.
And I think this guy wrote his death wish when he put the first package on the doorstep.
Well, I hope so.
The problem is you don't want it to happen again.
Did they ever nail everybody? It was when all the ricin scare? That seemed to just kind of fade away.
Well, I think this one's sort of a Unabomber type of deal now, right? I mean, it took a long time to find that guy, Ted, whatever his name is, up in the mountains in his cabin.
I think his name was Drew Bennett.
Well, it does seem like, there was 2 in one day, but then he went from like March 2nd, for 10 or 11 days, ever how long it was, but with nothing. I mean, just, the first one went off and it was kind of like random and there was nothing else really said that much about it, except that they were looking at it as a homicide. But then it was gone. And then all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, we have 2 in one day that were both left there in the middle of the night. So,
I mean, I think what we can look at here is that it takes the guy about a month to make his bombs. All right? Because the whole thing happened on March 2nd, and then the next one happened, later last month, right? Or has it been in the last couple of weeks, Lloyd, that it's all happened? It's 3 packages.
Maybe 14 days, total, 2.5 weeks, something like that.
Yeah, so it's taken him about 2 weeks to a month to make these, and then he goes and delivers them.
Yeah.
But, evidently it's happening right here in Austin, Texas, because it's not getting shipped. Well, and the guy's probably not driving up from San Antonio.
And, of course, a lot of people are saying, since we have some of the biggest celebrities in the world in town for South by Southwest, is that why they did the attack now? Because obviously Austin is already in the news. And then to add this on top of it, it's like, oh, my God, is it safe to go to South by Southwest? You got this guy leaving, bombs here. I mean, so is it something against the city? Is it something against South by? I mean, there's all this different speculation, but it does seem kind of ironic that it's all, leading up into South by Southwest when you have everyone from Elon Musk to you name it here in town.
Well, everything is speculative, but I think that this person is doing everything on the east side of town for a reason. I mean, if you look at the, sites where he's left these packages, they're all off of 183 on the east side of town.
Right.
So I think there's significance to that. And I don't think that I think it might be, of course, I have no idea, but I'll bet it might be just a coincidence that South by Southwest is happening.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah, could be. There he's back.
Sorry about that. Lost my interwebs.
Yeah, Drew, Lisle just did this beautiful segue about a big package that was at my house after I did my last visit to the Salt Lick.
I said didn't they find another explosive package over at your place? Yeah,
in the bathroom.
After you, last time you went to Salt Lick.
Just can't have a podcast without a little shit humor in there, I tell you.
No kidding.
It's the way it is.
Well, you're just talking about explosions and packages and stuff, and I thought, and you were saying, do you think it came up from San Antonio? No, if you wanted to really blow somebody away, you'd send them a dictionary. If you're from here. So I have, but I see that, and that's just, that's one of those creepy things. But Austin is filled with creepy people.
Well, it goes back to strange criminals. We had the guy dropping the rocks from the overpasses on 35, and that went on for what, Drew, over a year before they finally got that guy. Yeah. And so
it was just an angry white guy.
Yeah. Which I have a feeling that's what we're dealing with right now, another angry white guy. And I keep waiting for the all these posts that are going like, see, told you, you don't need a gun to kill people. You can kill them with bombs. You can kill them with cars. I was just waiting for that post to come after these bombs started going off. But I haven't seen them yet, but I may have just started something right there. Who knows?
And how does the gun advocate sound again?
Yeah. See there, you don't need a gun. That's what I'm saying, man. You can kill people with bombs, cars, pipe wrenches, Kaiser blades, sling blades. I like to call it a Kaiser blade.
Yeah, we've heard that, Lloyd. Yeah, now that you've given me the voice, then I know what to look out for, because I have to be on my guard. So if I hear someone who sounds like that, I'm thinking, all right.
You better run, because he's packing.
So here's the weird thing about this whole package bomb thing, because the new tip on this is that, the 2 people that were killed were members of an African-American, church on the east side of town, and they knew one another.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear
long
that.
history. Yeah, they go to the same church.
So maybe this guy does know who exactly he's going after then, instead of just some random person picking a package up off their front steps. I don't know.
You got I mean, this kid, Draylon Mason, 17 years old. He played the bass.
Yeah, he was about to go into UT
obviously
music.
this guy is not the target. I don't think so.
Hard to say.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought I saw on that story that these two, the latest victims, had relatives that knew one another, and that was the connection, that they didn't directly know one another. I could be wrong on that too.
Yeah.
But
well, they say that
wrong.
Stephen House and Draylon Mason knew one another and went to the same church.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
That's what that was on NBC News. But who knows what the facts really are. But they do think that they're related. And what's amazing is that it's an African American church on the east side of town. These people know one another. They were active members in their community, and and the person that is targeting these people, if he's targeting people who are connected in some way, knows how to make a bomb better than anybody in the city.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
It is frightening, and I don't think it's his last attack or her last attack. I'm thinking it's probably a male, but you never know. But you can't assume these things. However, I don't think it's his last one, and where he'll be next, nobody knows. But I will say one thing. The mayor and the police chief have done a pretty good job of creating awareness of, be on your guard, for these packages, especially in a city like Austin where, it's very Amazon friendly, not only Austin, all over the country, but still people getting a package almost at least, I would say on an average once or twice a week is kind of the norm, be it from the post office or whatever,
Well, you don't know about my love life, do you? Really?
They're not going to talk about what the packages look like. Obviously, I don't think they're going to get on and say, "Yeah, they're coming in Amazon boxes." I mean, they're not going to say those kinds.
Well, they're not. I mean, and they've said that it hasn't been delivered through any type of delivery service. It was obviously someone who walked up to the house and left it there. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, the awareness is there. There's got to be some cameras somewhere, somehow that's going to get this person, and that's it. They've got to have that. There's just too many cameras out there now.
I mean, you got to be looking at 183 and looking at who's been, they're on the case on this guy, promise you.
Yeah.
You're right, Lloyd. They probably have, seen video of several suspicious people walking around in the middle of the night on the east side on some kind of a camera. That's got to be around there.
I mean,
somewhere.
I haven't seen what they were saying the package looks like, but I got to assume it's a cardboard box, that looks like an Amazon package or whatever, UPS. Because like I said, if it didn't look that suspicious for two people to just randomly open up a box without a label on it. I mean, I wouldn't do that, would you? If you saw a box outside with no label on it, I wouldn't touch it even before this happened. I would still have my suspicions about that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a brown, I just envision, who knows what it looked like, but I just envision a brown box, just a cardboard box with not too many markings on it.
Yeah.
And they bring it in. But on the other hand, if they bring it in and open it and, maybe it did have some, I don't know, markings on it that they thought, oh, this came from, the post office or.
And another thing they haven't said, if there was a name written on the box, or like I said, if this person knew it, or if it was just, like I said, some random person, he went like, okay, I'm just going to leave it on this house and see what happens. I think this guy's way more smarter than we're giving him credit for. I think he's definitely got something. He knows exactly what he's doing. I don't think this is just some, hey, let me drop a box off at this dude's house and see if they open the lid.
Happens. Yeah. I told Julie, I said, we can't order anything from Amazon until this is over. I don't want anything coming to the house. I don't want anything coming to the house.
As soon as the second one happened, I mean, I literally text the girls because, it was spring break. And I said, look, do not open anything that comes to the house right now. I said, if you see something out there that looks suspicious, call 911. Because I was at work. I was like, I don't know if they've heard this news story or what, but I mean, I was definitely on my high guard, because like I said, we get packages all the time. It's not uncommon to see a package on your front door when you get home. So
could you imagine how many boxes of diapers the cops are opening right now? Oh boy.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, the kids eagerly awaiting the arrival of the Nickelback box set. And they're just opening up everything that comes to the house.
That or your transgender rubber suit, man. I can imagine the look on their face when they pop that thing open. There it is.
How am I going to open up that now?
Yeah. It's like I have an intense need to mask, and now I'm afraid to open up the box.
Exactly right, man.
Right, and then for those of us who steal packages from neighbors.
Oh, yeah. That could be the ultimate bad karma, huh?
That probably isn't going to happen anytime soon.
Talk about bad karma, man. Good God.
Kapow. I tell you, it's something that I still is going to think that's going to blow up. Here's my big segue. As you can see, I signed in today with the name Stormy Lyles. I think the Stormy Daniels thing is going to really blow up.
She's sure getting more than her 15 minutes, that's for sure.
She's already done a 60 minutes deal with Anderson Cooper.
Yeah.
That's ready to go. I think there's a lot in there. What
does she know? I mean, and by the way, can the guy have an affair and still be the president of the United States? Well, I guess I don't understand, what the deal is. I know they paid her some shut up money, not to tell a story about something, about some affair that he might have had. But, it's not like this is the first time that a president's had an affair.
Right.
No, and of course, it was way before he was president. It's not that. It's somebody just has a story to tell. May want to tell it.
I think she's doing this, 15 minutes of fame thing. And I'm not defending the guy. I'm defending him.
You think? Yeah, of course she is.
But even if the worst case scenario comes out in full detail, I still think Trump walks away from it with not a scratch. I mean, it's got to the place. This guy, used to call that mob guy the Teflon Don. That's what Donald Trump is, man. It doesn't matter what you throw at him, what comes out about him, what photos may appear, what audio you have, what video you have, the dumb shit he says. He just keeps walking away from it. And those loyal followers like, yeah, whatever. That's what blows me away about this case.
I mean, he said during his campaign in the middle of Times Square that he could shoot and kill a guy and nothing would happen to him.
Right.
So you're right.
But it's nothing about what he's, we already know what he's been doing in office, but it's also the fact that I'm surprised she took 130 at the time she did, considering where he was and what was going down. Maybe she had to think about that a little bit. Well,
right.
If he loses, probably won't get any money. I better make my deal now. And 130?
Yeah. Well, she wants to give it back, right? Or did she give it back?
Well, that's because his name's not on the agreement.
Right.
DD. It's listed as DD.
Yeah. So here's your 130 back because I can cash in. I can get a whole lot more.
Right. But I mean, why are we intrigued by it? I mean, is it just like I said? I mean, I get it. The most powerful man in America and a porn star. I mean, it sounds like the shit that TMZ would have a field day with. But why do? I mean, are the Democrats want it maybe to try one more time to take him down, which is not going to happen. Some porn star story coming out is not going to take Trump down if he's got through all this other stuff. But why are we intrigued by it?
You also have a strong evangelical base.
Well, that's true.
And you see whether or not situations like this cause some erosion. I mean, that is out and out adultery.
Yeah. Well, especially with Franklin Graham. I mean, he's the the biggest that's out there that really continues to support Trump, man. I mean, and that's what has blown me away, literally, since Trump announced he was, running for president, and get these backers from them. And again, why are they not pulling away? I don't understand that. It's just some mystery to me, man, how he can continue to hold on to those guys.
Well, I mean, look, Bill Clinton got a blowjob in the Oval Office and didn't get impeached.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to impeach, though. You've got to have 67 senators voting for impeachment, and that's really going to be hard to get. I mean, even if you got to a point where, because of all these other things, nothing could relate to this. This is just kind of the seamy stuff that you watch because there's always so much denial. And the fact that she's a wicked girl, and another person who admitted that Trump was kind of getting a little randy with her was Jessica Drake, another wicked girl. who I think went to Judson High School.
Really?
In San Antonio.
Wow.
Always got to look for the local connection.
Sure.
You know, it's always have to do. You got to look for the local connection. But yeah, it's just, it's that kind of thing. It's kind of playful because it's going to come out. So I'm just waiting for it to do that. Does it really harm him? No, it harms his marriage. So I'm sure
I think what happened is that Michael Cohen set up a corporation, an LLC.
Yeah, out of Delaware.
He made a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels in October. It's what some of the facts coming down are. And the reason that this is important is because if the article is true, that makes that $130,000 payment to her, I think, a felony in violation of election laws. So yeah, it could be serious.
There we go. See, that's an informed opinion. We'll have no more of that on Beaver Cool-Aid.
Yeah, what the hell are you doing, Drew? Have you been reading?
I mean, yeah, he's reading. He didn't just pull that. He didn't pull that out of his
Joe Prep.
Nice.
That prolapse thing down there. He was reading that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the reason, anybody who's saying, well, why is this even happening? Because you can have an affair. What you can't do is give hush money, as a part of some sort of, campaign dollar money flow.
Yeah, just like you said, Lloyd, right?
What?
Isn't that what you said, Lloyd?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Of course.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I got you. See, there's more there, Lloyd.
Well, Drew is sounding very intelligent. I mean, I think he's obviously had the soul of Stephen Hawking take over his body or something like that, because he sounds way more intelligent this week than he did last week. So,
oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that.
Very much so.
Speaking of Stephen Hawking, 76 years old.
Yeah.
76 years old. And they only gave him 6 months to live when he was diagnosed with ALS way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 21 when he was diagnosed.
Yeah. Hey, you look at some of those old pictures of his wedding, and he looks like a lovely man. It's sad that had to happen to him, and that he was trapped in his body like that for such a long time. I've seen it hit families, and it is devastating.
Yeah.
It is a devastating disease, and frankly, it's a surprise that he lived that long.
Yeah.
Well, definitely.
Because most people don't.
Yeah, that's right. Most people really decline rather quickly, and it's a painful thing to watch.
So what do you think is going to be his biggest legacy that he has? I mean, obviously he's had a lot, but is there one thing that kind of stands out to mainstream America that, he'll be remembered for?
I think he had that documentary called A Brief History of Time.
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 1988.
Yeah.
And, he tries to explain or pontificates on Big Bangs and black holes. And I think what he leaves is, that legacy of teaching the world what those sort of celestial events are like, and what he thinks happen with time.
Yeah. Establishing theory in cosmology, or as you would say, Lloyd, in cosmetology. So, and he did a pretty damn good job with that too. See, once again, Drew's coming through as really informed. I thought this was the guy who started Buc-ee's. Is that not right? Because when you were talking about legacy, I was immediately going to say, well, come on, how stupid can you be? He started Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on
This guy
that?
invented the snack wall.
Yeah.
People, wake up. No, I think
I need to read. I need to read more substantive stuff. Obviously.
Yeah.
I think the silly thing that he did though in his life was that he threw the party. He threw the party, and then he didn't tell anybody about the party until the party was over.
Yeah.
And he did that to prove that time travel is impossible. Because he said, look, if I threw a party and time travel existed, they would have showed up at the party. And my counter to that was, what if nobody wanted to come to your party, man?
Yeah.
They all knew it was going to happen.
This is the kind of stuff that makes me kind of dizzy and sick to my stomach.
I just thought it was a tad egotistical that he did the whole, that whole thing. A little silly. But anyway.
Maybe he knew something.
That's what I like to do. I like to shit on people that just died.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it was that or stone speculation. You know, like, you notice that the man-made world is predicated upon the right angle, yet the right angle rarely exists in nature.
Good God.
What?
True. Pass the vape.
Oh,
Good
wow.
God.
No kidding.
Yeah, that's usually when the hot chick leaves.
Ain't that the truth?
But wait.
But I think he goes down as, one of the great thinkers of, all time. And I think he goes down as, mostly famous for A Brief History of Time. At least that's how I know Stephen Hawking.
We've sure found a lot more planets than the 9 that I was taught about in elementary school, since you looked up into the sky and it's like, hey, there might be more out there than the 9. And, NASA sure loved the guy. So, I mean, he's got that going for him. So maybe space
there's only
and
8
time.
now. There's only 8 planets now.
Well,
because they dicked Pluto.
It's a star, right?
Decided it was some moon or a star.
Yeah.
I need to learn more about this. Is there a Stephen Hawking graphic novel that maybe I can pick up?
I don't know about a graphic novel, but but you can go and rent A Brief History of Time and watch it. I watched it back in the 80s when it came out.
But isn't that just a documentary based upon his book by the same name?
Yeah.
And I that's the kind of thing that maybe I'd want to read, but I got to have pictures.
Yeah, what you're saying is that you want a comic book, a Stephen Hawking comic book.
No, that's a graphic novel.
Oh, sorry.
Just get you a little pen, get you a little book light, sit outside under the stars, read a couple of pages, and then just look up. And that's your metaphor for photos. You're out there, you're with them, you're traveling.
It's just like all the Neil deGrasse Tyson stuff. That stuff gets me so horny that I just go crazy. Absolutely crazy.
So there's a book called Stephen Hawking, A Graphic Guide that you can buy on Amazon.
There you go.
You are doing your research.
Man, he is.
$10. And it's a graphic novel.
Good.
John, you should be able to. Yeah, man.
It's amazing how engaged you are, Drew, and you're not stoned, man.
It just allows me to live around you normal people.
That's
you
right.
commoners. That's all.
That's right.
The only way I can get around it.
Yeah, otherwise my brain would continually expand.
And, all of a sudden your head resembles a light bulb because, that's what it's doing. Or is it just like everything else is continually expanding?
I tell you what, the only thing I really know is that time is relative and flexible. And Albert Einstein said the dividing line between past, present, and future is an illusion. So reality is ultimately timeless. And it sounds pretty bizarre, from the view of classic physics, but from the view of consciousness, theory, and spirituality, I think it fits in perfectly.
Yeah. That was well said, man. Good God.
Classic physics?
Well said.
Does that mean I have to hear she's a little runaway
I had to
again?
dig deep for that one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise.
Good God.
I think I just picked my nose and ate a booger or something, man. I feel pretty stupid right now.
Classic physics.
Timeless.
Physics of picking a booger out of your nose.
Yeah, well, he went to Western Carolina.
It's all relative to time, man.
Yeah, like the Chambers Brothers, right? Time is an illusion.
Right.
Time is an illusion.
Well, they can sit and talk about, black holes and the Big Bang Theory and, space travel and the entire cosmos. And they can sit and talk to you about how insignificant you are, because you live on a little tiny rock in a really big space.
But why do you have to die
why
do you have to die to finally see it? Why can't you see it while you're living?
None of them can explain what happened prior to the Big Bang.
Right.
They know that the Big Bang happened.
Yeah.
But there's two things that always weird me out. Nobody can tell us what happened prior to the Big Bang. And then nobody knows why we sleep. You know what I'm saying?
Usually I sleep after I have a Big Bang, but it's That's the way it works.
But isn't it weird that nobody knows why we sleep? I think it's weird.
See, this is it. The hot chick just left.
Yeah.
Great.
There she goes.
This used to be a curse of mine when I was much younger, I'd start talking about this and realize, oh, okay.
I just think it's interesting that you
All
hear
what's left here is me and the guy that passed out 2 hours ago.
you hear people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he sits and he's such a fucking egotist. I can't, there's plenty of people that like him. And Bill Nye, fuck that guy too.
The science guy?
Dude.
Yeah, fuck him. By the way, it's not Bill Nye the science guy. It's Bill Nye the bachelor in engineering. Okay, that's all he has. He's got a bachelor's degree in engineering.
Man.
And all of a sudden he's the science guy.
How could you shit on that, dude?
He puts a cup of Dawn and some fucking baking soda in a can and shakes it up for a couple of kids, and all of a sudden he's a scientist.
Hey, whatever it takes to get kids interested in science, that's all right.
Hey, I'm with you on that. I just think that Bill Nye is he's one of those guys that, I don't know, he's got this huge following on Reddit, and the internet loves Bill Nye. Fuck Bill Nye.
Hey.
And fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson too. Both of these guys, they sit and talk about like they know everything that there is to know, and I'm like, okay, well, tell me why we sleep then, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's all right.
No, I'm all about the STEM. Okay, I'm not gonna shit on any of that. I want all the kids to go down to the little science museum and have a time and grow up and be scientists. Just don't be an asshole about it when you are.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
There is an assholeness associated with intelligence, and believe me, I have none of that. That's why I'm a nice guy.
This is what I've had to deal with. Yeah, same thing, Lloyd.
I think you can be really, really, really smart and be a nice guy.
I don't know, man.
I don't think that these two guys are that nice. You know what I'm saying? And in the case of a couple of them, they get on and just, I don't know, it's just so egotistical to watch sometimes.
Dude, I thought like 5 years ago you were all over Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Maybe so. But my opinion has changed over time because time is flexible and relative.
Right. If you go back to that time in your life, you could time travel. You could go back and tell that Drew. It's like, hey, man, this guy's an asshole. You don't need to.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking, 2012 you?
Right. I mean, if Einstein was around now, you'd say, oh, that guy.
Yeah. Fuck Einstein. He's no shit.
What a dick. And that accent's not real.
Right.
It's just an affectation so he sounds smarter than he really is. That's all. It's kind of like when pigs with an English accent get laid, And it's just because of the accent. Like, how can I compete with that?
You just got to get a little more Cockney.
I'm working on an Armenian accent now. I have to do something that's more obscure so that people don't know it's so bogus.
Right.
So you just have to pick out some kind of nationality and see if you can sound like them. People have no clue.
I think Armenian would work for you. You got that deep voice, and you throw that Armenian accent with those pipes and shit, man. You'd probably have women just going all over you then.
It's always how do you trap a woman when you're old, blind, deaf, and unemployed?
Well, you have to go down. You have to lower your standards.
Yeah, that's the problem.
John.
And that's what I keep telling them. Lower your standards. You think you're going to find something decent out there?
There's really nothing decent out there anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's really, I went out last night down to some bar. I don't even know what it's called. Sitting around with all these guys talking, these pretty girls that we're sitting there talking to. And I just sat there and thought, what a gigantic waste of time this is. And I can't believe that I'm sitting here talking to these people and that they all are single and go home alone at the end of the night. And it just reminded me of my single years. I never want to go back to that. I really enjoy being married, even when it's really hard. And it's been very hard.
Bring me down, dude. Bring me down. That's good.
Why don't you tie another knot in that rope there, Drew? Good God.
Go back to classic physics.
I'm sorry. I'm just relating to that.
I've been alone for almost 4 years. Way to go, Drew.
Wow. Man,
That's great.
Holy shit.
Hey, John,
I'm
you want to go to dinner tonight,
that's
man?
what I mean. I'm outside looking at the stars and choking it to, Neil deGrasse Tyson graphic novels.
Well,
Yeah, there you are.
I didn't look at any Neil deGrasse Tyson graphic
Let me
novels.
tell you something, Drew Bennett. Sometimes it's not your choice, all right?
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes somebody else says, I don't want to be with you
Right.
any longer.
Yeah.
And there you are. And then you're released out there to the world at large.
Now, Drew, how old were these folks you were hanging out with, these guys? Were they your age? Were they my age?
They were
Or?
young kids. They were young kids. And so we were, younger than me, half my age.
So you were out on East Rainy Street, and you were out on East Rainy Street, and you were the old guy. Is that what I'm
I was
talking
on
about?
Red River, and I was the old guy.
All right. Well,
Yeah. But one of them did say to me, you don't look 45. Which I thought was very nice. But she was like, easily 50, 55.
right.
Because guys are out like that and they're not looking at chicks. They want to get home and play video games.
But seriously, are guys in their 50s, middle age, actually going to bars and try to pick up chicks? I mean, or is it?
Yeah, that still happens. In
No,
some
you can do
places I'm at, but it's pretty pathetic.
Well, that's what I would think. I was like, the last place I think I would, especially in your 50s or 60s, you're still going to a bar trying to pick up a chick. What are you going to get? Because you're going to get weird, horrible looks.
Well, you better get it. From what I can tell, you better get a front end loader.
It's depressing. It's depressing. I just don't. I look at those years of my life and go, I don't want to relive. I would never want to relive those again.
Well, you
Right.
can't.
I'm just talking about I'm not really talking about my single years as much as the entire thing. Being in your 20s and having to. God, how many times did I hear yesterday down at South by Southwest? Well, I'm interning right now for this company downtown.
Well, again, it's who you're hanging out with.
28 years old and you're interning, and you know what I'm saying? And you just you sit and you have to fight for everything that you get. Fuck that. I don't want to do that again.
No, but I had a great time in my 20s.
No, I did. Oh,
I was,
great.
I guess I was fortunate. I had a great time. Of course, I'm paying for it now.
But I'm extremely curious, the folks that are listening that are in their 40s, 50s, or 60s, I mean, that may be going through the same thing you are, Lisle. What are they doing? I mean, are they going back to church? Are they doing the Match.com thing or online? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like you said, it's got to be probably tougher now, way tougher now as you're older than it was back in the day when you would go to a bar and try to pick up a girl. I mean, it's got to be really difficult.
I'll tell you what, and this is going to be, some people are going to roll their eyes with what I'm going to say here. But I think if you want to go and meet a quality person who is, close to your age or close to your preference or whatever, someone who's likely doesn't have some kind of an emotional issue, then you need to go to church. You need to go and find that at church.
Yeah. Well, that's what Billy always said.
I don't know, man. Those chicks are nasty.
What do you mean, church girls?
Yeah, when you get your mega church girls, they're nasty, man.
Why? Why are they nasty?
They just are. They come on like Jesus girls, and then they're not really like that. I think that's just a filter. So then they can get what they
Well,
want.
I think that you can have that part of your life, and then when you get home and you're in the comfort of your own home and in your bedroom with your loved one, and you want to take it in the butt. I don't see any problem with that.
Yeah, but the problem is she has to watch me. That's not pleasant.
Yeah, the hypocrisy thing happens quite a bit in churches, and you look at somebody and go, "Wow, they go to church every week, and then he's having an affair."
Yeah.
I mean,
All they're doing is just going to church.
but they're just going to church. I mean, the only thing
Pick
that's
up chick.
different than
We're guys.
anybody else around here is that person is going to church, and it's funny to me when someone says, "Oh, can't believe that woman goes to church every Sunday and she's sleeping with that other man."
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
As one who was raised in the church who's not a believer, I just think there's a lot of fallacious thinking that goes into all these things where somebody who professes to be a Christian is somehow going to be more morally grounded than someone who doesn't.
Yeah.
I turn over a lot of rocks. I find all sorts of different people. And it's more of a mathematical game. The older you get, the availability of what you're looking for is extremely limited. Extremely limited.
But I got to think it's just as hard
Especially
for a
if
woman.
you're 58 like me and looking to tag a 35-year-old who doesn't want children.
Mm-hmm.
You're getting into the Brady Bunch years, where you're going to meet somebody. She's got 3 kids. You got 3 kids.
Well, at my age, they got 3 kids and they're all in their 20s. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with any of those things. But then childless people, they're a little different too, because they've, the world has pretty much revolved around them, even if they've been in marriages before, because they've never had to, as we all know, sacrifice a lot of things to have children and raise children.
Oh, yeah. And
so that's a different trip. And since I have younger children, I forgot to add that. Okay, let me see. What was it? Unemployed, old, blind, deaf, got a gut, and a 9 and 12-year-old.
I mean, you've been doing it your entire life, raising kids, man. So I applaud you for that. At least your legacy is
longer.
John Lisle is a great father. And boy, he did it his entire life.
I had a friend of mine suggest that I join a mega church. And I said, no, that's not right. He goes, no, better yet, man. You need to start your own church.
Yeah.
You can wear your Hawaiian shirt, your shorts.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't allow you to use my NRA guy voice there. You didn't ask me, could you use that now? Come on.
Yeah, I did use it a little bit. Yeah. Now, I was trying to do the A&M voice because he's an Aggie. Well, I got to tell you, John, like that.
Yeah.
Man, I go to Possum Baptist Church every Sunday.
And it's tell you what, the Christian karaoke has really caught on.
They're all singing songs about Jesus, man, That's good.
Christian karaoke.
That's good.
You know how contemporary Christian music's like that. I mean, it doesn't have to be, you could just, maybe it's spiritual, but at the same time, it could just be a pop song.
Yeah.
It could be talking about another human being. Because that's how you can kind of cross over these things and assure that you pick up a bunch of Dove Awards.
I can't listen to the Christian radio stations because... And it's not even the music for me. Like I'm a Christian. I go to church. I just can't listen to those Christian radio stations much because number one, the music is mostly bad. There's a few songs, maybe 20% of the records that I would go, it's not so bad. But it's the personalities that are so bad.
Yeah. Right? They all sound like fucking Delilah.
Everything sounds like a motivational poster.
Right.
When you're listening to, she gets on and goes, they just come on and they go, have you ever felt like you're just not enough? And that you want to give up? You just want to crawl into your couch, eat a bucket of ice cream? I've been there. God's been there. He loves you. Here's Michael W. Smith. And I just can't. It's every time.
Is that a local thing or is that a K-Love thing?
It's a K-Love Air One Spirit. Yeah, it's every one of them does it. Everybody. Yeah, they don't have. And then the morning show is the most milquetoast thing you've ever listened to in your life. Well,
maybe you need to get on, Drew. Change it up a little bit.
Yeah, I liked your delivery right there, Drew. You bring it, man.
That was good.
Yeah. You don't have to take them down to the gutter.
My own motivation.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Joel Osteen is. Joel Osteen is not a preacher. He's a motivational speaker. He's telling you everything's going to be great in your life.
Yes, I am, Lloyd.
Well, he preaches that prosperity, Christianity, which I don't really agree with.
Yeah.
Better watch out. One of Lloyd's faves.
I know.
There you go.
Hey, look, man, my house is not big enough. I need one bigger because that's what Joel says. It's like, don't ever think about your surroundings because once you get kind of stagnant, that's it. That's a limitation. That's right. Think big. If you got a big problem, your God is bigger. Okay, that's what I gotta say.
Yeah, nice work, man. Maybe you should be doing this.
Well, look, I'm going into politics. I can't be a politician and a preacher, so I got to pick one or the other. I got to pick one or the other.
Let's go put a new spin on a Christian radio station. Just be Christian.
You may wonder why we sleep, but God knows. He designed you.
Hey, even God rested on the seventh day. I mean, come on, right there. We're just living in his image, man. We have to rest, Our work is done for the day. There you go. That's my metaphor.
God in 3 persons, blessed Trinity.
Oh, man. There's nothing wrong with going to church.
No, and I'm not a churchgoer myself. I believe.
Oh, you don't?
No, I'm not a churchgoer. I mean, I went to. I did for a brief time, and I was in San Antonio, the little church that rocks, the Bandera Road church there, which I really liked. I thought it was, it wasn't judgmental. There was all walks of life there. I was like, okay, this kind of feels like a cool church. I like it, and then I moved back to Austin and haven't really found anything like that since. But
well, Austin's the most secular city in the nation.
Yeah.
You have more godless heathens living here than any other city.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe
less
it.
churches per capita. But the most churches per capita of any city in the nation is, anyone know? Las Vegas.
Wow.
More churches in Las Vegas than there are in any other city.
Yeah, but they don't have any congregants.
Yeah, right. What was that preacher's name, John, that Bandera wrote? He was a pretty cool guy. He was on your show a couple times, right?
Yeah. Is it Dave?
Pastor Dave, yes. He was a good dude.
It's
like that
Bandera
guy.
Road Community Church. Yeah.
The little church that rocks. Yeah.
So I guess they have rock music that they play. You get in there, it's a concert. Is that the deal?
Well, it's just like I said, man. It's their thing is they welcome, everyone from bikers to grandmothers, that kind of thing. Is like no matter if you walk in here with your jeans and your leather or whatever, it was just wide open, very diverse, and it was very casual. But yeah, they had bands plugged in, but I mean, to me, it just felt like we were all just kind of hanging out and not being preached to, but just kind of.
Yeah, it's not like that now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a consultant came in.
See, that's what happens.
Ruined it all.
The God consultants.
$1,500 a month, the bastard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they only play 4 songs now.
Right. That's.
The sermon's 8 seconds long.
Yeah. You got to be.
Yeah. But they do a lot of teasing on the next week's sermon.
Father John, you didn't identify the church in the first 5 seconds.
Well, the congregation is only tuned in for 16 minutes too, so they're out of there. So you got to get it in there. That's the way it is.
That's how they're not coming in. Uh-huh.
It's the Episcopal denomination is the denomination that's so inclusive, right? I mean, you can be a gay person, you can be a female, priest. I mean, there's lots of I think inclusive, attributes to the Episcopalian denomination. The rest of them, aside, and then the non-denominational churches, the gateways of the world, and like the Joel Osteen churches of the world. Mm-hmm. They're sort of inclusive. Everybody come in, doesn't matter what you're wearing, bring your bike. But the Episcopalian denomination, people don't realize that. It's always been interesting to me that you can be a gay person and go into Episcopalian church, but are you going to love the service?
Right.
Because when you get in there, everything's very...
It's by the book, right? I mean, it's literally scripted. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Catholic light, right? And so you get in there and
well, it's the Church of England.
Yeah. And so it's interesting to me that you go in there with that kind of a lifestyle, right? And then you'll be witness to that kind of a service. It's interesting to me.
It is interesting. Yeah, I went to an Episcopal funeral once, and I thought it was the most impersonal thing I'd ever been to. I was like, well, they were just like reading from the script and inserted his name, and that was it. I mean, it sucked.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I just went to an Episcopalian memorial service myself, and it's very, get up, sit down, turn around, Yeah,
a lot of movement.
Boogie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting thing. And everybody's incredibly sad and crying, and it's, you're right, Lloyd, it's sort of, I don't know, very ceremonious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Very, very, let's do this first, and let's do this second, and this third, and then everybody's going home.
So I'm thinking if Stephen Hawkins could send us back to the beginning of this Beaver Cool-Aid podcast, what do you think he would have told us? Or what would we have told ourselves? What have we learned today? We could go back to the very beginning and start over right now. Would we do the same show?
Guess what? We still don't know why we sleep. We've been here a whole hour.
I know why our listeners are sleeping right now.
Fuck you, Bill Nye. Fuck you, Bill. Fuck you, Neil. You don't know shit about shit.
I will go to your party and I will tear it up.
Really? Beaver Cool-Aid
Get it hard.
with Lisle, L.A. Lloyd, and Drew.
Make it like a man.
So go ahead, stick your head up your ass.